North Korea. Where is it? Who is their dictator? Why do the happenings in their country threaten the freedoms of their citizens every single day? There are a number of reasons why North Korean citizens do not have the freedoms that other countries have come to take for granted. Kim Jong-un and his oppressive regime are responsible for this. But he isn't the first oppressor in his region. He is the son of a long line of North Korean dictators, and he inherited the leadership position in 2011. He has made it his goal to push his country to become a superpower by attaining nuclear weapons. He will do anything to meet this goal, and this is where it gets dangerous. He has shown that he has no issue in killing thousands of innocent people. He has decided that heightening his nation's power would be the easiest through fear tactics. The laws set in place are extremely oppressive, and the punishments are even worse. Let's suppose that I have 2 daughters and my mother in my life. If I take any action that Kim Jong-un would consider a threat to his regime, I would be taken to jail. In addition, however, my 2 daughters and my mother would be arrested as well. This system prevents any possibility of any uprisings or protests against North Korea. Now, I want to take a second and reflect upon this principle. Imagine you are one of these citizens, one of these North Korean citizens, and you have been born into a country that has been built up for you to fail. In this life, you have overcome much of this adversity, but you can't take it for much longer. You find it necessary to take a stand and try to bring some people together in a peaceful manner to make life better for yourself and for your people. When this is found out, however, and you are imprisoned for plotting against the state, your innocent brothers and sisters are met with the same fate. This is not a world where a sane person could live peacefully. This isn't the only situation in which Kim Jong-un's harsh leadership tactics hurt his own people. He is merciless, and he loves making an example out of people. For example, according to CNN, one of his close, most supportive advisors was executed with weaponry used to take down airborne aircrafts. Now you may be wondering what he did to receive such a ridiculous and cruel punishment. The answer? He dozed off during a briefing for less than a minute. This goes to show that even Un's proudest supporters are not safe under his regime. Kim Jong-un is one of the most radical and intolerable leaders today. Aiden will touch on this point later on in the talk, but I would like to bring some attention to how regressive and damaging a lack of freedom of speech really is. As I learned in my world history class, it is impossible to destroy, erase, or remove an idea, but it is possible to take away one's ability to express it. This is exactly what is occurring in North Korea as we speak. All of these people have great ideas about what could be done to better the lives of hundreds of thousands of North Koreans, but Kim does not want anything to do with it or hear it at all. His only goal is to become as powerful as he possibly can, and he is unable to imagine this while giving his citizens the basic human rights outlined in the UN's Declaration of Human Rights.
The North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un has created an oppressed society in North Korea. Kim Jong-un has taken away all basic human rights created by the United Nations for all human beings in his nation. Freedoms such as speech, protest, movement, having contact with foreign affairs, expression, faith, economic life, and food have been stripped away from the North Korean citizens. The freedom of speech and protest is one of the larger rights made by the United Nations. Being able to speak your mind and voice your opinions is what makes American citizens who we are and why we're able to accomplish so many things politically, socially, and economically. For the North Korean citizens, if they speak their mind, they will end up in 3 different ways. Inside one of Kim Jong-un's concentration camps, forced to disappear by the government, or executed. If the North Koreans wanted to protest against Kim Jong-un, no doubt each person would be executed on the spot. In the United States, when people begin to protest, the people do as they please, and the government allows the citizens to protest. North Korean citizens are also unable to leave the country. Kim Jong-un disallows all citizens from leaving, and anyone caught shall be punished. Approximately 1,500 people successfully escaped Kim Jong-un and his regime. Everyone else who failed to escape were punished in the various ways Kim Jong-un punishes his citizens. Apart from being unable to leave the country, no citizens can have any contact with outside affairs. Outside affairs include social media, direct contact with someone or multiple people. Any North Korean citizen who acquires any type of foreign affair and is caught will be punished by Kim Jong-un. Depending on how much a citizen was inside a foreign affair, will decide how badly he or she is punished. Kim Jong-un disallows anyone to own land. All land in North Korea is owned by Kim Jong-un and his regime. Citizens may live on a property or land, but they have no say on what happens to it. Citizens are also unable to express themselves in any way. Any ways of acting out or expressing oneself can lead to a severe punishment. North Korean citizens are also not allowed to follow any faith or religion. The only thing the North Koreans follow is Kim Jong-un and his ideology. Kim Jong-un has also created a famine amongst his citizens. 3 million people died in the 1990s due to starvation. The oppressor, Kim Jong-un, abuses the basic human rights all human beings deserve by implementing these forms of oppression. Taking away these human rights is inhumane, and these rights need to be given back to the North Koreans because all humans are equal and deserve to be treated as such. The North Korean citizens deserve far better than what Kim Jong-un is giving them and deserve everything their dictator owns, as well as his government officials.
The base of Kim Jong-un's power comes from his propaganda. This propaganda comes in a medium, but are not limited to posters, television broadcasting, country anthem, and nationalistic ideals. These propaganda acts instill behaviors of the ideal North Korean citizen. If a citizen were to defect from these ideals, they would face punishment beyond reasoning. This overall portrays a fearful and oppressive government with citizens scared for their lives. In a situation in which a citizen had went against these behaviors, they would be placed in a gulag camp under political or common criminal acts. These camps usually consist more than 200,000 inmates. Inside these gulag camps, they are beaten, tortured, humiliated, and starved to death. Okay. Currently, there are 17 active camps, all holding 200,000 prisoners, bending at their will. Out of all these camps, the most notorious one of them all would be Camp Number 22. Pyongyang, or Camp 22, is known for the prisoners being both a criminal and their families. They perform extreme human rights violations that include routine torture and forced human medical experiments. This camp has an estimate of 50,000 people held captive. These people held captive were deemed politically unreliable and had criticized the North Korean government. With the North Korean citizen life being held by an iron fist, they are incapable of rising up and taking a stand. Another infamous gulag camp in North Korea is the inescapable Camp 16, in which 200,000 political prisoners are being tortured or executed, while the others are being worked to death. This camp was founded in 1990 and had prisoners that are suspected wrongdoers who are held captive in a guilt by association punishment. A guilt by association punishment means that if their family member was a criminal, then they are considered as well. What we do know about the camp is that there were no intentions of releasing prisoners and are literally working them until they drop dead. Prisoners are exploited for hard, dangerous, and deadly labor. These labor activities usually are in mining, logging, and agricultural needs. In 2006, nuclear tests were located 2 kilometers away from the camp. This allowed guards to use the prisoners to dig tunnels in areas exposed to nuclear radiation, causing them to get sick and die. Hypothetically, if a prisoner were to escape and evade the obstacles ahead of them, they are thought to have perished in the cold forests that surround the camp. Satellite images found online show that this is an isolated camp away from the capital and located inside the mountains with a 216 square mile radius. With a 75-mile-long network of guard fences and foot patrols along with 35 towers holding sentries armed by guards, there is no chance of fleeing the facility.